What's up, guys? As soon as I turned on my camera, they made it look like, like if it's blurry. There's nothing on my camera face. I even just cleaned it off just now. Today is Monday, September 7th, 2020, 9:45 a.m. Haven't been sleep deprived, so I've been reading a little bit about Darnell Marshall, his testimony. As I'm reading this, not reading this, but as I was reading it, it reminded me of the stuff that I still haven't spoke about that what's happened to me. You know, in 2017, I made videos about, astral projection. That's the best way I could call it, And Astral Light 77, uh, when I got locked up, he tried contacting me, but I was locked up in 2017 on a bullshit assault charge to a public server, which is a police officer who's also a part of the Illuminati, White Satanic Pedophile Cult, New World Order, Freemasons, everything, the remote neuromonitoring groups that uses direct energy weapon, voice of skull, MK Ultra mind control. Well, he had contacted me, in 2019 when I finally got out. I had seen that someone had made a video, uh, had took my video from my YouTube channel and put my name on it. And as I was searching and like checking who did that, I came across Astrolight 77 that also, has Donald Marshall on his website. And I read that, Leno Martinez talks about, astral projection, but what he doesn't know is that, that it's clones that he's been, they have taken his conscience, and transferred it to his clone. And, so I've been reading Donald Marshall's story, I've been trying to figure that out, and when I said astral projection, that was the best way I could describe it, man. It's so fucking real. I mean, it's like you're there. And, there were times where, in 2017 when I was locked up, I was in jail here in Albany, Texas. They did that shit to me again, I remember being in a big old fucking building, with lots of people laying on their backs, and I was laying on my back. And they had a machine that looked like a sphere, and it would like scan your fucking body. And it said if you had any diseases or what you were thinking about, or some shit. And there was people there that were scared, and they would always try to push that fucking sphere on someone else, and it always ended up on me, and operatives, people that, are like are privileged, that are got access to it. There are gang stalkers that use remote neural device. Their family members, people that are rich and people that I know, and their kids that are my age now and younger. They would they were there too, but they weren't like the rest of us, laying down and getting fucked with. They were there to make fun of us, and talk shit about us. And while that fucking that sphere, that device, like would scan your body, man, to see if you had any fear, and if it showed any fear, it would stay on you, So they were always trying to fuck with me, and once they started fucking with me, and that sphere stayed on me, constantly scanning my body, they were, saying, "Oh, he got AIDS," and that sphere would, once they put that in your mind, the sphere would say, "Oh, this person has AIDS," or this person has this, and I don't have none of that shit. And they were making all this fucking shit up about me, at the same time. I was there, and there was cops there. I remember cops, being at the door, who also participated in it. And I remember at one point they had another member, a black girl, as I was laying there on my back, she had came to my body and was stitching me. She was stitching my body, and she was putting like a gang symbol on my body to let people know that, oh, this is Lino Martinez, you know, and she was putting a target on me that if anyone who were to see my body would see that stitch, and they would, do bad things towards me. I don't know who that black chick was, or uh, I never seen her in my life, and I've never done anything to her, so I have no reason why she would do that to me. And she did that to me. She was stitching me up, and it was like I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything, and she was doing it quickly as she could. So I don't know. It was weird. Like she didn't want to get caught, or she didn't want to. I don't understand that. It's not like that she didn't want to get caught, but she was doing it in a hurry. But there was so much stuff that went on, when I was locked up, 2017, and these people here in this town are doing that shit. They got a Masonic lodge, a Freemason here in this town, and they're also cops. They're also a part of that shit. And there's so many things went down, man. I remember also being, like Donald Marshall said, he talks about an arena. This was like a stage, where they would have kids of all ages, uh, after, like stealing people's personality, or, vibrations, and also a little bit of their own at the same time. They would, it was like an auction, and people would bid on them, or raise their hand that that's who they wanted to go sexual with. At other times, I was laying down on like on a metal one of those. It was metal, and I was naked, and people would come up to me, females older than me, and they would grab my manhood, and it was like they were uh, going sexual, and then they would pull somebody out of me. It was weird, but it was weird, and they would go sexual with that person while they try to lie about using me as a decoy. It was the most weirdest shit ever. I don't know how they did that part. And that was the trick. That was the trick. I knew that while I was there, they were also, doing some stuff so they could cover up the real shit that was happening there, while doing some shit like that. Making me see things, like not see things, but like someone pulling a person out of my body, and that older woman and that underage boy would go sexual, while she tried to make it seem like she was going sexual with me at first, and then she would pull him out of my body and they would go sexual. And that happened, like member after member would come up and do that, taking turns doing that, pulling people out of my body. And I know that was just like the trick, but in reality, they were really going sexual with underage boys and girls, and that's what they were doing. And there were so many things that happened on, you know. There were times where I would snap out of it, and and I'd be in my cell tank, you know, and I would hear the dispatcher or somebody also that was at that place, it wasn't just dispatchers radio in to the jailers. Uh, it would be, I don't know why, it would be, people at that place that they were going sexual. They would radio in to the jailer, be like, "Hey, Lino, go check up on Lino. He's watching. He's awake. Like I was back in my normal body, and I was awake, and I knew what was happening. And so the jailer would come by my cell tank to see what I was doing, and I wouldn't move. I lay there real like steady, and he wouldn't say nothing to me. And this continued on, like, within the first week I was there, like night after night, day after day. And there was a lot of shit that went on. I mean, a lot of people from Albany and out of town members, going sexual with underage kids and boys and of all ages, and there's so much on my mind that's been happening that I've been exposing, and I've been right 100%, and I called it astral projection, but as I was reading Donna Marshall's story, you know, they're able to take the conscious mind and transfer it to uh, a clone of yours and activate the clone while transferring your mind to that clone. And this continue, man. They would compete on who could fuck the best, who could have sex the best. They would have competitions on who was like who could last longer, who was fucking the best at the time, and they had a beat, a beat like a cadence that they would fuck to, you know, and they would be fucking that female, even housewives, single women, women that I know that participate in that also. Uh, and at one point, I came up with a new beat, you know, and it was better than the original beat. And they couldn't get it, they couldn't catch on to it. And the woman said, "You better teach us," you know. And they finally, and I didn't want to teach them, and they finally caught on to it. I remember one of the trustees that also participated. It's also a gang stalker that went willingly. This was against my will. Every time they had me go, it was when, and that's what they call it, go, was against my fucking will. He he caught on to the cadence, and he was the number one guy at the time. That was fucking. Uh, they, because they had competitions on who could fuck the best, or who can make that woman, feel good, or at the time. And these are women that also there are members of that shit, and people would watch, and it was like a big ass gathering, you know. And I remember, high school kids of all ages, man, even young ones, real young too, like elementary, middle school were there, and this, and I couldn't understand, like, like, because, like, when I was laying in my cell tank, it was like I was awake, and all of a sudden I was there without even having to fall asleep. It was like, boom, I was like, I was there. And it was like an operative that would speak to me, man. He was speaking to me at the time, and I was having a conversation with him, you know, and he offered me the reins, to his, like, whatever the fuck you want to call it, his group. And this was like an older white man, and I remember he had a brunette uh, female that was older also, and they were older than me, and she was supposed to be like representing his wife while they were there, but they also, she also engaged with other men and young boys. And as I had a conversation with him, my mind was getting transferred from the, I guess you would call it the clone, like Donna Marshall would say, from the clone back to my body. It was switching back and forth, you know, and he would ask me, "Where did you go?" And I said, "I'm still here," you know. And all of a sudden, I'll go back to where I was, man. They're cloned, and these people are gonna be like, "Oh, he was hallucinating." I wasn't hallucinating because I wasn't on no drugs, and I wasn't drunk. And he's like, "Where'd you go?" And I'm like, "I'm right here." And all of a sudden, I was back to that place, and I watched these females having sex, big old orgy, and I remember, like, it was a fucking big ass fucking party, man, like a big ass party. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of fucking people there, a lot of people there. And I remember this one kid telling them, I'm just gonna tell her that he stunk, and he was talking about me. And that's how he was like going to get in her good graces, and that's be how he would be able to fuck her. And he was talking about an older woman. He said, "I'm just gonna tell her that he stunk." And as I was talking, they were over there. I could see them. There were a group of them, high school kids, and it was like in the middle there was people fucking, and then there was more people, like a shitload of people. And then I was like to my left, I was talking to that guy, man. He was like supposed to be like one of the ringleaders. And I remember at one point he offered me the reins. He offered me the reins to what they were doing, and I said no, man. I was like I can't do that. And it was crazy, man. It was crazy. I mean, there is so much that I have not even said in my videos that would like people are not going to believe until you read Donald Marshall's story. And you know a lot of people in this world don't understand what's happening. And this is some real stuff, man. I believe Donald Marshall. I believe him. You know, and like PAC lives, that supposedly on YouTube. I seen his videos where he like, supposed to be interviewing, supposed to like, help Donald Marshall. You know, uh, he claims he's talked to, uh, a member within that, a member that, also wrote music and, that's trying to discredit Donald Marshall. He said that he been also in the different realm dimension. I call it the astral realm, but it's more than that. It's the third, fifth, whatever dimension it is, but it's so fucking real, man. Donald Marshall said it's your clone. They activate your clone and they transfer your mind. Using a device, and they got the technology for it. And I believe Donald Marshall, man, and a lot of people, try and discredit him. It's just because they can't comprehend, or they can't wrap their mind around the stuff that really happens. And this shit really does happen. And I've been trying to expose this fucking shit. You know, uh, there's a lot of shit that goes on, and like I said, and I've known, man. A lot of these people, been stealing from me over the years. My ideas, how I thought about things, how I was able, to get in heavy equipment, all of a sudden just run it, because I was like, a lot of things came natural to me, just natural. And a lot of these adults have stolen from me, man. And every time I work out, they steal for me, for their kids, to feel powerful and strong. When I'm feeling powerful and strong when I work out, and what I think about, how I think about football, they pretty much used me up on that right there. Because over the years, someone would always ask me about football, man. Even after the years, talking about, hey, man, I heard you were good at football, man. And like new people, all kinds of shit. And every time I watched, football, especially after I got V2K'd in 2016, when there were times where when I did watch TV, but I barely watch TV these days. And that's probably the thing that they don't want. They don't want me to watch TV, because every time I'm watching TV, they they start laughing through the TV, making fun of me, especially if I'm watching a sitcom. Because if I'm watching a sitcom, uh, a TV show, I'm able to relax, and it relaxes my mind. So every time they start laughing and making fun of me and shit, so I end up turning it off. And when I turn off the TV, it's like they start talking shit, so they put me in their loop of fucking bullshit and want me to think negative of myself. And over the years, and that's why I really don't watch TV. But I need to, I also know that TV distracts your mind, to what's happening in this fucking world. And and it also, it subliminal messages and stuff, also along with MK Ultra mind control, direct energy weapon. And when they're sending frequency towards you that bypasses the ears, that your mind registers to get you to do stupid stuff that you don't want to do, or whatever it is that they want you to do at that moment. And that's how they've been stealing from me too, man. Because all the stuff that I was able to do naturally, they use that same tactic to say, well, it was ours to begin with. That's how they are. And these women, they're like, see, that's why, and these kids, man, these high school kids, especially these high school kids, always, talk shit and, think they're so cool now because they're part of that shit and got recruited in. You know, uh, they brag about it. That's ours now. That's ours. And they're evil as fuck, man. And like every time when I did watch football, you know, I would watch the guards. And when I say the guards, they use that against me saying, Lena watches the guards in prison or, in jail. And they would, recruit those people, saying, oh, Lena was watching her family. But I'm talking about guards in football, the center, guard, tackle. Uh, when I'm watching my team play, football, NFL or college, and if my team's on defense, I automatically start watching the guards, just to see if it's going to be a running play or a pass play. And I was good at, I'm still to this day good at, knowing where the ball's going to go. And, they would steal my knowledge in football, sports and stuff. And, but, they've basically, used that up over the years, man. It's just over the years, and especially 2016, after I've been V2K, they've been, gaslighting it to their members, man. That same knowledge of, being real good at things to their kids and, uh, members that, that are in that shit. And every time I had a strong vibration, like there's this time when I thought about court and how I need to present myself, represent myself in court, and what I need to say in court. I mean, it had a strong vibe that they're like, damn. This girl even said, damn, I want that for my mother. Meaning, she wanted it for herself, or, and they would, save that vibration, that knowledge, that deal to their, it get downloaded to their computer database, and they would tax it, or put certain, passwords to it that only high members was allowed to have that same vibration that I gave off, or in that knowledge, or they would put a price on it. You have to pay this much money to get that same vibration that was downloaded from me that they stole from me. And then also, if a lower rank member wanted some of my vibrations, that they have stolen from me by downloading it to the database, they would have to work their way to get it, by sabotaging my home or, harassing me or, uh, revving their fucking engine by my house, for noise campaigns or all kinds of fucking shit, man. Or lying about me, for one of their members to get away with doing other stuff towards me. And when I was in jail, they get inmates to do the same fucking thing, man. And I mean, this shit goes deep, man. They would gaslight my vibrations, if how I thought about in court, to their their lawyers. That's also part of that fucking evil ass shit. And and then they would kill my memory on how I needed to represent myself. I mean, there's so much shit that goes on in this fucking world that they've been stealing from me. And like everything, since like 2016, like since I've been hit by this, I knew that shit was evil, man. The vibration, whether they say, oh, we gave them that vibe of evil. I already knew it was evil. I've been fighting this evil ass shit since I was little. I used to have bad nightmares when I was little all the fucking time, man. All the fucking time. Bad fucking nightmares. Some that felt so fucking real. I mean, I would wake up and see shit. And, I've been assaulted by these people, While I'm also, when they take your conscious mind and they transfer it to your clone, you can feel them like touching you, hitting you. I've been assaulted many times sexually assaulted, that when I snapped out of it, my conscience could, when I came back to my body, and when I woke up, snap out of it into my real body, my real body, could still feel the pain from them harassing me and sexually assaulting me. I mean, this is some shit that Albany white people are doing in their members. They got all kinds of people in their shit. I'm talking about poor, middle class, rich, of all kinds of backgrounds. But I have been calling the white satanic pedophile sex ring cult because it is run by the white people. It is run by the white group. And you know, I call these people sellouts, man. People my race that have joined that shit, I call them sellouts. And it sucks because I never want to say they're fucking, you know, like Mexicans that also have joined that shit. And I never want to say that because the white group always pins it on the Mexicans that are not in that shit. And the Mexicans that are in that shit get away with it, man. Like, how can you fucking do that? Y'all some fucking sellouts, man. Y'all some fucking punk ass sellouts. Some evil ass people, man. Just like in jail, man, that fucking jailer, that Mexican jailer, just young as hell. She's a female. She's a dispatcher now. I know her fucking name. I know who she is. She's a part of that fucking shit. She fucked with the food on purpose. Also fucking impostered as being my sisters at times while she was with the trustees, you know, while they fucking sabotage, smear campaign my family. All kinds of fucking shit, man. While fucking with the food and all kinds of stuff, man. And the white group would do it too. And then they would try to get the black group to join in on it. That is why one of their white kids would always repetition or, you know, use the device to, every time I say like whatever, man, he would switch it to the N word, the racial slur word for about black people. And there are some black people in their cult too that know about that, and they don't give a fuck because they're getting money, gifts, bribes, sex out of that shit also. But that's been repetition to me a lot, man, the racial slur word about black people into my mind. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in this world, man, that they're doing. Evil ass shit. And they are having sex with underage little elementary kids. They got them to join their shit. And they got middle school girls, high school girls, boys included. And of course the college kids. And you know, because like I live in Texas and I'm from Albany, you know, Albany, Texas, you know, they got a couple colleges, like just 35 miles southwest of me. That'll be Abilene, Texas. And you know, some of the kids that joined that shit from other states, you know, they would just say, or not from the 325 area, they would just say, they would use it, we're not home, when they're actually, you know, gang stalking also a part of that shit, you know. And because they would say that they're not home, meaning they're not at their, you know, where they came from, but going here to college, and they're also in the area now, and while they're gang stalking, they will just say we're not home, meaning they're not at their hometown, and it would show that it's true on the device. And that's how they would get away with gang stalking and participating in that shit. I mean, they have so many ways to fucking manipulate the device, but who are they trying to kid? Because everyone who fucking who remote neural monitors or gang stalks is on that same side, and the people they're answering to. And I told these fucking gang stalkers, I'm like, who you trying to fucking fool? Because the people you answer to know you're doing this evil ass shit. They also do that evil ass shit with y'all. There's so much shit that has gone on that I still haven't even said, man. So much. I mean, like, where do I begin? You know, there's so much. And I'm always tired, man. They're always still keeping me sleep deprived. It's like they know I want to work out, and they know that I want to jog, and I'm able to do that. I will be able to do that during the day when That's when I work out during the day, and that's when I jog during the day. So what they do is they keep me sleep deprived all fucking night. So by the time daylight comes around, all I want to do is try to go to sleep. That's what they did when I was in jail. When I was in jail, I still try to work out. I was doing push-ups, incline push-ups, you know, diamond push-ups, regular push-ups. Uh, I was doing crunches, scissor kicks, and then I started doing also squats, and I was doing planks also, and I was doing that for a good stretch, and you know, uh, sometimes they don't fuck with me so that I do work out, so they steal my vibration for their members, and then when they're trying to fuck with me, they start sending fucked up vibrations where I don't want to work out, or they'll keep me up all goddamn night so that when I want to work out, I'm too tired to work out, and then they would fuck with the food if I was in jail, and I mean all kinds of fucking ways, man. There were so many ways they try to keep me from not working out. Also, MK Ultra mind control. This shit's heavy, man. This shit is heavy. And all the ways I thought about, how I need over the years since I've been B2K, how I need to tell the court system a good lawyer and a good judge, which there is none around here, uh, how they were doing things and how they would get away with, covering up how they were doing things. And so they would have one of their fucking members that's actual a perp, you know, on that evil side that remote neural monitors. Still how I thought about, telling a good judge or a good lawyer what they're doing and how they cheat the fucking device, and how they're training to beat lie detector tests, training kids at a young age how to beat lie detector tests, and making them think of other things, while pinning it and framing it on other people. You know, I would, it's like I was thinking for them, like how do I stop that, and how do I stop that, and how would they try to beat it if one person was to try to stop it. And everything I came up with, they were using it, you know and then they would say that they were doing that, stopping, preventing, people that use remote neural device, and saying that people were hacking their system and all kinds of shit, and that they were getting rid of people that gain stock, while they actually continue to gain stock and doing all the fucking evil ass shit that I'm saying that they've been doing over the years that I've been exposing, pedophile shit, raping people, sexually assaulting people, mind controlling people to do bad things, to lock them up for their fucking, to make their sheriff look good, their deputies look good, the lawyers look good, getting people to go to doctors so the doctors make money. I mean, I'm talking about a fucking big old scam, scheme, plot, making money go round and round, while they fucking, their members all fucking engaged in sexual activity, watching each other, having access uh, to the shit that they were doing, sexual shit, whether it be uh, bestiality, if they wanted that shit, sexual underage boys, underage girls of all ages, uh, all kinds of fucking shit, man. And a lot of these members, join that shit, for the power, the money, the gifts, a lot of them say, well, I'm doing it for my family. I'm like, you're doing it for your fucking self, dude. You are doing it for yourself. And, they love the power, the sex, the money, being able to gang stalk somebody, you know, being a perp. And, over the years since 2016, man, since 2016, as years gone by, man, there are times where I do have conversation with them, trying to get them out of that shit. You know, a lot of them, I know a lot of them, like a lot of them, uh, feel bad at times, and, I think some of them, at one point in times when I was preaching the word of God, and talking about God, they, it's like they wanted to get out of it or, uh, be good, but they were scared. It's like they're scared to get out of that shit because what they've done to me and how they cover up so much shit and how they do smear campaigns that they don't want that happening behind their back. Like they continue to do evil ass shit with the rest of them because they're scared that, if they get a hint of them, telling on the rest of them that behind their back they're already going to start a smear campaign around that person because they're going to say that person's not trusted within their fucking sex ring cult, Illuminati, Freemason, broadcast the signal, the pyramid, uh, the motherfucking devil's army. All that shit I named, man. And so they continue to do the shit with the rest of them. You know, like there was times where, I woke up in my cell tank in 2017, 18, 19. And I remember one night I looked at the door and it was like deja vu. It was it was exactly like deja vu. Like someone had came to my cell tank, you know, like I have like it was deja vu. Like something was happening to me like while I was asleep, and this girl and this boy that was a part of that shit, were like they couldn't believe what they had saw, and so they were like, "Well, show us," you know, and they the group that attacks me daily had to convince them that it was just deja vu. And this other girl that's a part of their shit, a white female, real young, said, "I told you they were crybaby," talking shit about them. I mean, there's so much shit that I've seen and heard. You know, uh, kids that were being forced to watch, people that were forced to watch. You know, uh, all kinds of shit. Like my family, I always get the sense that like my mom's always or my dad's always getting threatened by like, hey, we're gonna kill your like as if I'm gonna get murdered or something, man. And these people always laugh at me, man. They think it's funny and they think it's like hilarious. These young ass dudes that join their shit that are stupid as fuck. Because like since 2016, man, when they always got in a jam, they always had to have the older generation that's older than me get them out of a jam, because they're not that smart. These gang stalkers are not that smart. They're not that intelligent. And these older generations would tell them how to get out of the jam and uh, how to spin and twist the story up, to make them look good while trying to bullshit me. I mean, there's so much shit, man. Donald Marshall is 100% right about what's going on in this fucking world. And they've been using me, trying to pin me. Every time I'm in jail, dude, like, and even now, man, they always send me, uh, sexual shit. I remember one time in 2016 when, I got V2K and I wouldn't go sexual. I looked up at my ceiling and they used that device to make me see the word sex was all over my motherfucking ceiling. And there's nothing on my fucking ceiling. I mean, all over my fucking ceiling. I could see the word sex. But it was done by the device. I could see the word sex everywhere. And, I've seen a lot of pedophilia shit. And, it's fucking fucked up shit. One of the last things I saw while I was in jail was a white older man having sex with a young underage boy, uh, white kid, like the age of 5 or 4, and that was terrible. I did not want to see that. It was terrible, man. And these are people that were remote neural device doing that fucking shit. They are the ringleaders that are doing that shit. So don't let them lie to you saying we're searching for the hacker that did that. There ain't no fucking person that's hacking their system. They are the people that hack, and they are the ones that are doing that shit. I've seen so many, pedophile shit. It's like they're always trying to get me to do that, and I don't. And it's like they trying to get me to do it, so they don't feel bad for doing it, but also because they want me to go to prison because I've been exposing it, and because I've been on the good side fighting, for the good side. They just want me to fall. And they really are doing some pedophile shit with some very young ass kids. I remember one point between 2017 and 19 when I was in jail, they did that same shit, conscience bullshit, where they take your conscience and you're there. I remember 3 little girls, probably about the age of 7 or 6, and they were having like a sleepover, and the mom was there, and I remember the husband and his like friends were getting their dicks sucked by those girls and shit, and going sexual with them. And before that happened, they said something. Them little girls said something to me, and they looked at me like, "Is he going to tell on us, or is he going to join us, or is he part of the shit?" They looked at me like, as if is Lino going to tell on us? And and in that deal I left, it was some fucked up shit, man. And they got so many locations they go to, within that shit, dude. So many locations. And they would play a song called Sex Tonight, and it was like a club that they go to. All kinds of shit, man. And I know these people. They are white people, and they also got a lot of people that are in their shit. Man, it's just a little bit of the stuff that I'm letting you know. I gotta gather my thoughts, man. I mean, there's so much shit. It's like I want to go from step to step,